Why do so many women stop wanting sex after marriage? This is the question no one wants to say out loud, because the answer is deeply uncomfortable. For years, we've been told it's hormones, stress, kids, or that this just happens. But in my clinical work, I've seen something very different. What's actually happening has almost nothing to do with men, and everything to do with what's going on inside women themselves. Today, we're going to talk about the real reasons desire can fade after marriage. Not the polite explanations, not the socially acceptable ones, but the honest ones. Many women are naturally giving, but over time, constant giving can lead to emotional depletion. Marriage, children, careers, and social responsibilities all require energy. While giving can feel rewarding, it can also leave a woman feeling empty inside if she doesn't intentionally replenish herself. Think about it. If your day revolves around caring for everyone else, children, spouse, extended family, colleagues, friends, when do you pause to ask, what do I need? Desire is not purely physical. It is emotional, psychological, and relational. If you're running on empty, intimacy can feel like one more task on a long to-do list rather than a connection that brings joy. Reclaiming small moments for yourself daily, even 10 minutes of journaling, a mindful walk, meditation, or a quiet cup of tea, can gradually restore emotional reserves. When you feel replenished internally, intimacy becomes more natural and inviting. Another powerful reason desire fades is the internal relationship a woman has with herself. Many women live with a quiet, relentless critic in their minds, comparing themselves to cultural ideals or other women. I'm not attractive enough. I'm too tired, too stressed, too old, or I don't look like I used to. This internalized shame doesn't disappear in the bedroom. In fact, it can make vulnerability feel unsafe. Desire thrives on self-acceptance and feeling worthy of pleasure. Sexual pleasure is natural and designed for enjoyment, but when shame dominates, it blocks the nervous system from relaxing into sensation. Practicing self-compassion is transformative. Begin noticing negative self-talk and replacing it with curiosity. For example, noticing a feeling of insecurity and asking, "What feels good here today?" transforms self-critique into exploration and gradually opens the pathway for intimacy. Many women also become highly skilled at managing life, balancing work, children, household logistics, and relationships. While competence is admirable, over time it can harden into rigid control. Sexual intimacy requires letting go, even briefly, and desire diminishes not because it is lost, but because the mind and body are constantly in problem-solving mode. Intimacy exercises that encourage surrender can be transformative. Mindful breathing together, eye contact without agenda, slow and non-demanding touch, or playful physical activity help retrain the nervous system to feel safe in vulnerability, allowing desire to flourish naturally. Another factor that is often overlooked is that many women never learned what pleasure truly means for themselves. Sexuality is often taught indirectly through cultural expectations, media, or partner-focused experiences. Sex can become associated with maintaining a partner's interest, being desired, or fulfilling a duty, rather than personal enjoyment and curiosity, which is how desire is genuinely developed. When intimacy is rooted in obligation or performance, desire often fades once security replaces novelty. Desire is a skill, one that begins with self-exploration. Understanding what feels good, recognizing boundaries, and allowing yourself to experience pleasure without guilt is critical. Exploration can include journaling about desires, learning about anatomy, or self-guided touch. The more a woman understands her own body, the more authentic and sustainable desire becomes. Finally, attraction does not exist in isolation. Emotional patterns in a relationship, often developed unconsciously, can erode desire over time. Criticism instead of curiosity, controlling behaviors instead of collaboration, and emotional withdrawal instead of engagement can quietly reduce admiration and attraction, both of which are essential for sexual desire. Even subtle patterns like repeated eye rolling or dismissiveness can diminish connection. When a partner feels consistently judged, undervalued, or unseen, desire naturally declines. This is not about blame. It is about awareness. Strengthening emotional safety in your relationship is critical. Express appreciation for small, everyday actions. Listen without immediately offering solutions. Repair conflicts with empathy, and focus on shared connection before sexual activity. When emotional safety is restored, desire follows, because the nervous system responds to safety, respect, and mutual appreciation. If you look closely at these 5 reasons, a common theme emerges. Desire fades when a woman is disconnected from herself, her body, her emotions, or her partner. Emotional depletion leaves little energy for pleasure. Shame and self-criticism block vulnerability. Anxiety and control inhibit surrender. Lack of sexual self-knowledge limits curiosity. And poor relational patterns reduce attraction. Desire is not a magic switch. It is a signal, a reflection of emotional, psychological, and relational health. The good news is that desire can return. Reigniting it starts with awareness, self-compassion, and intentional practice. Reclaiming your identity, not as a spouse, mother, or professional, but as a person, is essential. What replenishes you? What makes you feel alive? Desire thrives on self-knowledge and self-care. Practicing self-compassion allows you to replace internal criticism with curiosity, to notice insecurities and explore them gently, giving yourself permission to feel good in your body. Emotional safety in the relationship is equally important. Desire flourishes where partners feel valued, respected, and safe. Observing habits of criticism, defensiveness, or withdrawal, and replacing them with empathy and engagement fosters connection. Intimacy itself must be redefined. It is not performance or duty, but presence, curiosity, and connection. Finally, exploring and communicating your desires strengthens desire. Understanding your body, preferences, and boundaries, and sharing them with your partner creates authentic, sustainable intimacy. Loss of desire does not mean failure for you or your relationship. It is a signal that something important needs attention. Healing desire begins inside, with self-awareness and self-compassion. When women reconnect with themselves and cultivate emotional safety with their partners, desire naturally follows. Sexual intimacy is not something you give away. It is something you experience fully, joyfully, and intentionally when you prioritize your inner life and the emotional connection with your partner. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. I know these topics can feel sensitive or uncomfortable, but they are vital for lasting intimacy. Desire is not lost forever. It can be restored gently, intentionally, and sustainably. I'm Dr. Michelle Zion, and I'll see you in the next conversation.